joining us here on the Advancing Leadership Network. And today we're talking about a topic that is not near and dear to everybody's heart. EBITDA. Sounds simple, but there's a lot to it. So I'm kind of hoping you can help walk us through EBITDA and what it means. So first question for you. Can you explain what EBITDA represents? And EBITDA, for those that are following it, is EBITDA, and what it represents in the context of financial analysis. And why is this a critical measure for businesses?
You got it. And as a finance major, by the way, I've made a career in the channel by being able to talk to CFOs and other people about financial metrics. It's one of my claim to fames of how I've gotten stuff done in the channel. And so EBITDA has been my friend for a long time. So first of all, EBITDA stands for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. And it is the most widely used metric in financial analysis for investors and others who want to assess a company's operational performance and profitability. Why it's so valued is because it has an ability to strip away factors that can obscure how the core business is performing. And what that means is all the great presenters who in the past bent the talk track with their personality meet their match in our friend EBITDA, because it tells the truth and nothing but the truth. So let's break down its significance and its utility in a little bit more detail. So from an operational standpoint, EBITDA focuses on profitability, as I said, of a company's operation because it excludes the effect of financing and accounting decisions, as well as tax environments, particularly important when you're global and have a bunch of different tax environments. By removing interest and taxes and depreciation and amortization from earnings, EBITDA really isolates the profits that are generated from the operations of a business, which means that it provides a clearer picture of how efficient the operation is and how well it's performing. So in other words, it's a singular measure of how the items fully under the business leader's control are profitable or not profitable. And it also allows you to do comparability between companies. Because it eliminates the effects of financing and capital expenditures, it can be used to compare the profitability of companies across industries or sectors, even when they have a different capital structure, different tax rates, different assets, which makes it a very useful metric for investors, for analysts, but also for you if you're looking for a job. So for example, you can compare the EBITDA of two firms, maybe in wildly different industries, and see which one is more financially successful to aid in your decision on which firm to pick to work for, or perhaps more importantly, which one to avoid. You'll also see larger firms, for those of you in partner management, looking at EBITDA when they're determining who to partner with, for example, to bring a big new initiative to market. So by looking at the EBITDA of all the contending partner firms, they can make a pick on what firm is most likely to invest as they have the profitability to do so. Now, we typically think about EBITDA as that investment and financing decision, right? But those two previous examples, what company to work for, what company to partner with, using EBITDA, is because it provides insights into the company's ability to be profitable. But it also, if you're, for example, in distribution, is a critical metric for businesses because it can provide insight into whether the company's cash flow is available to pay off interest on debt. So that would indicate how well the company could cover its debt obligations. So do you want to extend credit as a vendor or distributor to this company? So it's particularly important, though, when you're evaluating companies with significant investments in fixed assets, think data centers, so that you know a company has enough operational profitability to expand its operations, invest in new data centers, right, and still return value. So if you were considering, let's say, becoming a partner for a firm and they'll pay you in commissions, this EBITDA could be an important thing to consider for this data center vendor. Do they have the ability to cover that debt obligation to you over time if you're getting residual commissions for the length of the contract or the length of the customer? We also see smart salespeople checking the EBITDA of firms to better down select the best leads to work, because a company with a highly unfavorable EBITDA is not going to be so likely to pass through your finance team for deal terms as an example. So as a seller, right, we see really smart sellers focusing on prospects who have the right financial health. And then finally, the one we all talk about because we're crazy about M&A in the tech industry, EBITDA is also used for valuation. It's off usually as a starting point for valuing a company, particularly in the calculation of EV, enterprise value, to EBITDA ratio. That's a common valuation metric that compares the value of a company, including debt and excluding cash. So that's EV to its earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization, EBITDA. And that ratio, EV to EBITDA, is used to determine whether a company is undervalued or overvalued compared to its peers. So that kind of wrapping it up is really what I think about understanding EBITDA. It comes down to where do you use it for operational focus? Where do you use it to compare against other companies? Where do you use it for investment and financing decisions? And finally, where do you use it for valuation?